Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Entrepreneur Motivation Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Bello, and this week I want to talk to you about leverage. This was one of the topics recently submitted when I asked people in my Instagram story what they want me to talk about. So let's talk a little bit about leverage and the power of leverage. So, first of all, let me pull up the actual definition of leverage for you. Leverage definition. So, the definition says, the exertion of force by means of a lever or an object used in the manner of a lever. That's it as a noun. Or if you want to use it as a verb, you can say like to use something to maximum advantage. Or let's see, is there another one here? Okay, it can be used as money, obviously, like to use borrowed money for investments, especially in order to buy a large enough part of a business so that you can control it. The power to influence people and get the results you want. So there's a couple different ways of defining leverage here, but basically how I want to talk about leverage today is in the leveraging your time, leveraging yourself, scaling yourself, having other people help you to do things that you would otherwise do yourself and spend too much time on. So here's a perfect example. This past weekend, I was out showing a million different homes for different clients, and sometimes I have open houses on a listing, and you can only be so many places at once by yourself. I'm still at that point where I'm still kind of a solopreneur. I don't have a team. I don't really have anybody working for me. I sometimes outsource stuff for virtual assistant work, but even then, it's just a quick PayPal fee. It's nothing that has tied overhead to it. And the power of leverage is, here's an example, is that I had an open house that I didn't want to be at a few months ago because I was going to be out of town. I was going to be visiting some of my girlfriend's family, and I was able to have other real estate agents host my open houses for me. They could show the house, and then the thing that was in it for them is that any leads that come in through the open house, they get to follow up with. They could be potential lease clients, potential buyers, maybe buyers who have a house that they need to sell first before they move down. So there's some opportunities that get generated that way. And then the way that I get to leverage them is that I don't have to be there myself. At the same time, I'm selfishly allowing them to hold that listing open, because should somebody come through and want to make an offer, or should somebody want to make an offer on the property in general, that helps me because I'm trying to get the property sold. This past weekend, the agent that I've mentioned before, she's doing like crazy numbers, $600,000 commission in a year or something, those kinds of numbers. She offered to pay like $25 per door for me to show somebody houses because she asked me last minute. I was like, okay, whatever, the money's great, but I don't really care about the money. But that's the power of leverage, is that she could pay $125 to have me show somebody houses for her so that she didn't have to go at all. And I spent about 1.5 hours showing 3 or 4 houses to a lease lead client of hers, that if he chooses to sign a lease, it would be like a $1,500 commission, something like that for her. So that's how you use leverage. She's making a small investment for me to go out because she's probably spending time on higher dollar producing activities. And should this lead that I showed houses to today want to sign a lease, she'll get paid off of that. So that $125 that she was willing to spend is a very small investment in risk in relation to what she's able to get in return. So let me ask you this, are you leveraging your business? Are you leveraging what you're working on? The activities that you're doing, are you trying to do everything on your own? Because some of us try to do everything on our own. We like to be in control. We like to make all the decisions. We think we can do it better than anyone else. But chances are that you've found out that you can't do it all, and you can't do it all the time. You may be naturally gifted. You may be hardworking. You may be good at figuring things out. But like the phrase goes, jack of all trades, master of none. If you can do everything okay, chances are you're not going to do any one thing extremely well, which is where you want to be. You want to be in a place where you can do 1 or 2 things that you're really good at extremely well, and then you can pay people or outsource and leverage your time to have other people do other activities. Let's take real estate again, for example, because there's so many moving pieces. You got to take photographs of the home. You got to put the sign up in the yard. You got to do open houses. You got to show the house. You might have buyers. You need to show them houses. You got to set up the showing instructions. You've got to coordinate a route that makes sense. And then you've got to do a whole tour if you want to see houses. One of the clients that I was working with wanted to see like 12 houses in a day, and we saw them really fast within 1 or 2 hours. We literally saw one after the other. I optimized the route, but it was very time consuming. I had to plug in one address, note down her feedback so I can share it with the listing agent, and then do it again over and over and over again. By the time you get out of the 12th house, you forget which houses you even saw and what they looked like. And so when the agent on the listing side reaches out and asks, hey, what was the feedback? You're like, if you didn't take notes, if you didn't have it together, you don't even know. That doesn't help the other agent to try to sell or lease out that house, right? I don't even know where I'm going with this, but I just want to say that you need to learn how to scale yourself. And to do that, you've got to be willing to let go of the reins. You don't have to do it all. You can hire help. You can pay for help. At the very least, you don't even have to hire a full-time person if you're afraid of committing, if you're afraid you're not going to have enough work to keep that person busy. Try to find someone who you can just pay, I don't know, hourly and have them do 3 hours of work a week when you need them to. If you need someone to write handwritten letters or thank you cards, or maybe handwritten envelopes, because apparently, I remember hearing, I don't remember what the statistic is, but if you handwrite the addressee name and address on an envelope, apparently the open rates are better because it looks more personable than just a printed out letter. So if you're in marketing, if you're doing things like that, you're trying to get a hold of a homeowner, handwriting can work, but you don't want to sit there and handwrite 1,000 letters or whatever. You can just pay somebody $7 an hour or whatever, or maybe pay them per letter to incentivize them. The faster they do it, the more you'll pay them. That's leverage. I mean, I guess I can look up, let's see, using leverage in your business is what I'm going to Google here. And again, guys, notice how me coming up with this episode on the fly, I just Google stuff and I learn and I share it and I put my little chime in, I put my thoughts in there. So let's see, this one website says this, it's called the Balance Small Business. And the title says how leverage can benefit your business. The meaning of leverage in business. This is still talking about the investment side. Okay, let's see Tony Robbins' website. I'd rather see this. You can leverage time, achievement, connections, talents and skills. Leverage your education. And let's see if some of these details over here. So leveraging time, this is what it says on the Tony Robbins blog. When you have a million things to do, this is where you can utilize time management. It comes in very handy. You can manage your workload effectively. You can group several similar activities that have the same goal. And then in terms of leveraging achievement, consider whether you can spread this limited win to other areas of your life. So like Olympic swimmer Michael Phelps, he leveraged his swimming achievements by negotiating endorsement deals worth $10 million annually from sponsors like Speedo, Ping, and Wheaties. And now let's talk about leveraging connections. Understand that connections are critical because they jump you ahead of the learning curve in many areas. That's so true. So here's an example. Connections let you know about available jobs before they even hit the job boards, the ones you would have spent hours researching. A connection may be able to provide an introduction to a decision maker at your target company. Boom. It's powerful. For real estate, my neighbor might be able to tell me that somebody she talked to is selling before anyone else even knows. I get an opportunity to see that house first. The next thing on this Tony Robbins blog post says to leverage your talents and skills. So having talent's fantastic. That's great. Even lucky breaks are great. But talent without hard work doesn't get very far. So you can leverage your talent with a successful business by continually adding to them. So graphic artist, for example, you can learn a new medium. If you're a negotiator, you can learn a new tactic for a different industry. You can continue learning and stacking on all those things. And the last point here on this article says to leverage your education. Career counselors know well the networking activities your past education and current, possibly vibrant, local alumni chapter offers. A career counselor's first advice for job seekers revolves around connecting with college alumni associations and connections. Get to know people because when you look for people you have similarities to and who have a similar educational background, you're able to utilize that to network as well as utilize these tools that you already have at your disposal. That's basically using leverage every single way that I think I can slice and dice it. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, please reach out. Shoot me a DM. Let me know what you want me to talk about next on the Entrepreneur Motivation Podcast. We got a short episode this week because it was just me and I just came up with this off the fly because I've been showing houses all weekend and I feel like I'm about to lose it because I was doing intermittent fasting. I didn't have time to eat, so I went like 20 hours without eating and I was extremely hangry. But now I'm not hangry. I ate something. I got home. I feel better. I just got a new phone. My iPhone 6S was freaking out with the new update and it was crashing on me. I was trying to show homes, like those 12 homes back to back. My phone turned off for like 3 minutes and I didn't know how to get anywhere. So definitely a first world problem, but I just got the iPhone 11. Nothing fancy, just like the base model 11. I just want a phone that doesn't lag and works. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful that I had the 6S. Now I'm grateful that I have the 11 because that is really, in real estate and business, that is my most important asset. I need something that I can actually talk to people on. It's my GPS. You can hear my cat meowing in the background. I can connect to social media. I can record with it. Like, honestly, a phone is probably the best investment we all have right now that can change the game for our businesses and for our social media and everything. So with that being said, you all have a great week. I am going to cram a workout in, probably get a jog in, take the dog out because I've got to knock that workout off my list. I'm recording this 5:30 p.m. on the Sunday night before this goes live, and I'll be honest, I'm tired. I was cranky. I showed like 15 homes today, and I did an open house for 2 hours. I don't want to talk to anybody now. But I came home, I recorded this podcast for you guys, and I'm going to get that workout done, and I'm going to do a couple of chores because it's Sunday and I got to do a little bit of cleaning. I got to put up these Christmas decorations that are in boxes back up in the attic as well. So when you guys don't feel like doing something, but you know it has to get done, get it done. Do it. When you make up your mind, you've got to commit, you've got to go all in, and that's how you're going to be successful in life. So yeah, I think I said bye like 3 times, but catch you guys on next week's episode of the Entrepreneur Motivation Podcast, and thanks for listening.